Okay, so what I want you guys to do is stand up and put your feet together. Like I said, I'm going to try to show my hands parallel, but put your feet parallel. There we go. That's better. Just standing. And I want you to raise your dominant hand and just point at whatever is right in front of you. Like for me, it's my door. So I'm going to raise your hand and point at your door. And I'll wait 1 second because it looks like Jen is connecting. So we'll hold on, hopefully, for Jen to get in here so she can follow along. Doo, doo, doo. Come on, Jen. And just it's like blinking at me saying she's connecting to audio. Okay, so Jen, just to catch you up really quick, if you can stand up, don't have anything in your hands or anything, put your feet like touching each other parallel, like my hands are on the screen. Just stand with your feet, raise your dominant hand and point at what's right in front of you. Now, I don't want you to do anything else other than spin clockwise just as far as is comfortable for you and see what you're pointing at. If it's like a spot on the wall or a window, whatever, just remember in your head, what is it that you're pointing at? And then you can spin back forwards, drop your hand. And now I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine yourself, don't actually do it, just imagine yourself raising your hand again and spinning clockwise and going twice as far as you went last time. And imagine it feeling good. Like it's not difficult. It's not hard at all. You just spin farther. And then you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. Imagine the smile on your face when you spin so much farther because you already spinned as far as you feel like you can comfortably go, right? Then I want you to imagine spinning back forwards and putting your hand down. And then I want you to ask yourself, could I go even farther? I want you to imagine raising your hand again, spinning clockwise again, and now you go like 3 times as far and you're like, holy buckets, I didn't think I could spin that far, right? So you're super excited. And I really want you guys to like try to picture yourself spinning. Like I'm sure from your peripheral, you know the things are around you. Imagine like, oh wow, I pointed at the window this time. Like that's crazy, right? Now I want you to imagine spinning back. Now, this time, I want you to imagine raising your dominant hand and spinning all the way around like an owl would. And it doesn't hurt at all. Nothing breaks. You don't get stuck. You spin all the way around. And I want you to imagine like the laugh that you would probably have if you could actually do that in your body. And I want you to really be like, wow, I can spin as far as I want to. And then imagine celebrating a little bit, spinning back around, and dropping your hand. And now, what I want you to do is open your eyes. Actually raise your dominant hand and point. So point at what's in front of you again. And I want you to see how far you spin. And after you spin this time, I want you to come back, those of you who can, and let me know if you went farther than you did the first time. So I'll wait. Well,
Yes,
you did. Okay. So why do you think you spun farther the second time than you did the first time?
because I saw myself doing it.
Okay.
So I did. I
What we're
pushed
gonna
past the hard.
Exactly. Well, partly, but what we're going to talk about is how our beliefs affect everything, right, guys? We literally have subconscious beliefs about everything, even how far we can spin comfortably. The first time you did it, you were like, this is probably how far I think I can go without tweaking something, right? But when you spent time visualizing yourself achieving a bigger goal, right? It is kind of like the antidote to that subconscious belief because your brain doesn't know what's real and what's imaginary. That's why we can watch a scary movie and jump, even though we know we're just watching a movie and there's nothing to jump for. We still do it because our brains don't know the difference between real and fake. That's how we can also have a dream and wake up feeling like it really happened, right? Our brains don't know the difference. So when we spend time imagining ourselves achieving a goal, it actually counteracts those subconscious beliefs that we have. Uh, our beliefs, while they can be good, a lot of the times are actually limitations. If you believe I can only jump this high, I can only carry this much weight, I can only spin this far, That's a limit you're putting on yourself, right? Now, no, I'm not trying to say that if we spend enough time thinking about it, we could actually spin around like an owl. But what I am saying is that sometimes when you say, oh, I did all I can do, it's only because you have a belief that limits you, that that's what you think, that's as far as you could go, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to create a recipe that is going to be an antidote for those subconscious beliefs that we have that tell us how far we can spin, or tell us how far our business can grow, or how fast we can grow, or how much work you can do in a day, or just whatever it is, right? We're going to create a recipe, and this recipe is going to be the way that we go against those subconscious beliefs, like, oh, I can only spin this far, right? So, that said, what we are going to do is I want you all to get your piece of paper if you can. And if you can't now, you follow along later. But I want you to draw, hopefully you can see this, a triangle on your paper. And what we are going to do is we're going to make a recipe, like I said. Imagine if I made a really good banana bread and you were like, oh my gosh, Justina, I love your banana bread. It's amazing, right? How do I make your banana bread? So I write the recipe down for you and I give it to you. If you followed that recipe exactly, you'd probably end up with some banana bread, right? You couldn't possibly follow the recipe exactly and end up with cornbread or blueberry muffins. That just wouldn't happen, or you really messed up the recipe. So this is going to be a literal recipe, right? For getting ourselves to spin farther, let's call it. So what I want you to do at first is inside the triangle, right about here on the inside, I want you to write an I am statement. Now, not just any I am statement. I want this statement to be the identity, like your dream identity, the dream version of you. If you are like, I am a strong, confident, super successful, bad A, if that's what you want to say for yourself, then I want you to write down, I am a strong, successful, super confident, bad A, whatever it is, right? I want you to write down an I am statement inside the triangle. And I'm going to write something just so you guys can see where I'm talking about. So I am blank. So right there, hopefully everyone can see it. I want you to write down your I am statement there. Then the first thing that we can do to change our state or change where our body is at is to change our physiology. So on the bottom line, underneath of it, we're going to put a number 1 and we're going to write physiology. And that's because that's the first ingredient to our recipe. Changing your physiology is really, really easy. I want you to think, have you ever been in a bad mood? Maybe when you were a kid, probably, but someone came up and tickled you. And even though you're mad and you're like, no, don't touch me, I'm in a bad mood. And they kept messing with you. And then pretty soon you're laughing. Why is that? Because you're changing your physical body, and our mood, our emotions, our beliefs, our limitations, whatever it is, has no choice but to change if we change our body. I'm gonna do a video actually, hopefully later today, and I'll post it on Facebook for you guys to see a silly thing that I do that changes my physiology, but everyone is different. So I want you to think, what is something that you could do in your physical body to immediately change how you're feeling? Some people put on a song and dance like crazy to it. Some people laugh on purpose. Some people go for a run or do like a yeah, like a karate chop, like whatever it is. I want you guys to write down under physiology here. Let me try to get it in the camera. I want you to write down just a couple notes to yourself. Now, these can't be giant things like go to the gym. This has to be something that you can do quick, right? Like in the moment when you're like, ugh, my mood is terrible and I don't want to show up like that today. Now, this can just be for your kids or for going to your other job or for Plexus, whatever it is. But I want to make sure that we follow your recipe so that when you go to spin, you can spin farther, no matter what it is you're doing. So for me, for an example, for my physiology, I have a song that I play. And I know some of you know I do all these crazy Tony Robbins trainings. He plays this certain song and then he yells, shake the building. And everyone jumps up and down and like pumps their hands in the air, right? To literally try to shake the floor of the building. So that's one of my things. Again, you could do karate chop. You could do force myself to smile, like whatever it is. What are some things that you could do in your physical body to change how you're feeling? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Write down a couple things for yourself. They have to be things that you like doing. If you hate putting on a song and dancing to it, I don't suggest you write that down because then this isn't going to work for you, right? So I'll give you a second to think of that. And while you do it, I will play my little song that I've been liking lately that's been working good for me. I'll play a part of it for a second just to give you guys some inspiration. And then we'll see what you think in a minute. So this is part of it. So I literally will put on that song in my headphones and I will jump up and down like a crazy maniac, like I'm at a party. And no matter what happened, like even if my husband and I got in a disagreement, I absolutely feel better after I do that. Like there's no time that I don't. So write down a couple things for your physiology. Okay. The next ingredient for our recipe, I wrote it here on this side of the triangle, is our focus. Hopefully you guys can see that. Your focus is this. What are you going to purposefully focus on that's going to keep you where you need to be? What are you going to purposefully focus on that's going to keep your mood good, your energy high, motivate you, whatever it is? For me, I wrote down gratitude. If I focus on being grateful, I'm grateful that I'm alive today. I'm grateful that there's air for me to take a deep breath. I'm grateful that I've been blessed with children. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to make money and stay home with them. I'm grateful that someday I'm going to be a diamond and never have to worry about money again. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that I'll be able to buy my dream home with this job. And I just write down all that stuff on the focus line over here. So just write down a bunch of stuff that you want to focus on. Okay. Whatever it is, whatever you're like, this is why I have to do this thing. Right. So what you're going to do first, maybe you play a song and jump up and down in the air like a maniac. Then you stop and you look at your recipe and you're like, okay, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about my babies. I'm thinking about my dream home. I'm thinking about being a diamond. I'm thinking about who can I serve today? I'm thinking about how grateful I am. Whatever those things are, I want you to write those down on the focus side. And that is area 2 of our ingredients. Also, Whitley, I did want to let you know, I saw your little message that you're on the way to the softball game. So maybe you'll get brave and act like a maniac in front of everyone at the softball game, but maybe not. So I'll give you guys a second. Think of your focus. And these are things that if you think about it, let's say you're like, oh, I don't want to reach out to anyone today. But then you look at your focus line and you're like, crap, but I have kids that are really important to me and I want to give them a dream life. I'm going to go reach out to people anyways. That's kind of what it is, right? The third part of our triangle or our recipe is right here, this side, and it's language. Language is really important because we all have those internal voices, and sometimes we be like, what's the point? They're going to leave me on red anyways. Or, oh, I haven't gotten a sale for weeks, so it just doesn't really matter. Or whatever it is. We say these negative things in our heads, right? So I want you to write down positive language there. Like I wrote down, I am confident, I am strong, I am bold. All that I need to be successful is within me. I'm a servant, I'm a child of God, etc. I want you to write down a few things that if you read those, you're like, you know what? I'm a bad A. Like, I'm awesome. I'm a super mom. I'm a servant of God. Like, what am I talking about? There's no point. I have people to help. Like, I want you to write down some stuff that if you read it to yourself, you'd be like, yep, I definitely got to do my stuff today, right? The next part after that, after you guys figure out like, what could I say to myself? You know, what could I really say that I'd be like, gosh, how can I possibly not try to talk to people if I'm a servant? Like, just can't do that. It doesn't line up, right? I want you to write down those things. Then I want you to think of this recipe because we gave the example of banana bread. Well, we're not going to call this banana bread because we ain't making banana bread. I want you to name it. It could be a cool girl name that you wish you were named when you were a kid. Like my little sister, when we were kids, she was like, when I grow up, I'm changing my name to Chitara. And we were like, what? And she's like, yep, I'm going to be Chitara. And for like 2 years, she made everyone call her Chitara. It was hilarious, but she felt powerful and like awesome in that name, right? So I want you guys to give this recipe a name. And in the top of the triangle, right here, I want you to write, I am blank. You can be like, I don't know, like I've seen people just write, I am strength. I am, success. I've seen people give themselves a new name, even a nickname, like whatever it is. But I want it to be something that if I said to you, are you just Cass or are you whatever, that you'd be like, yeah, I'm whatever. I'm not Cass, right? Like not today. Okay. I want you guys to pick something cool like that. Then what we are going to do with these, I taped mine up in my kitchen where I have to see it every day, is you have to actually do it. So why do we have to actually do the recipe? Well, first of all, if you don't do the recipe, you're not going to get any banana bread. Second of all, if we want banana bread or we want to change our state, we want to change our focus, we want to change our language, we want to change our bodies, we want to change how we show up for people, we can't get there doing what we've been doing, right? We all have those bad days, those slow days, those rough days, those crazy days. There are days where we're like, no, I want you to use this recipe to be like, F it. I'm staying up till 11:30 tonight because I'm finishing my work and nothing is going to stop me, right? I really want you guys to feel like that, and maybe you don't swear or maybe whatever, but I'm just saying, I want you to feel that. Like if you imagine, if you said, F this, I have a job to do and this is who I am. I am this person, right? I have to do this because that's who I am. I'm a servant. I'm a daughter of God. I'm helping people. I'm changing lives. I'm changing my children's lives. I want you guys to feel it so strongly in your body that if a physical person was in front of you and was like, no, you can only spin this far. What are you doing? You're like, get out of my way because I can go farther. I could go all the way around like an owl if I want to. I want you to feel like that, okay? So what I do for mine is I have a picture of it. So let me pull it up so that I can kind of go through it briefly and explain to you guys what I do. So my first thing, like I said, is I put on the song and I literally jump up and down for like 30 seconds like a maniac. My kids have been laughing at me. They think it's hilarious. The other day, my husband and I had a little disagreement and I was like, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not doing it. And I went outside and I put the song on and I jumped up and down in my driveway. Probably my neighbors were like, what the crap? But I did it and it made me feel better instantly. So I really want you guys to actually like do this. Okay. So I put on my song. I jump up and down like a crazy person. By the end of it, I'm smiling and laughing at myself. Then I say to myself, I'm focused on the future. I'm focused on my kids and their freedom. I'm focused on my purpose. I'm focused on who I can serve today. I'm focused on everything that I'm grateful for. And I'm focused on Yah. Then I say to myself, all that I need is within me now. I have power. I am strong. I am capable. And I set new standards. And then my name for my thing is Justice Victory. That's what I like. So I say, I am Justice Victory. And I put my hands in the air and I yell it. And literally everyone thinks that I'm a lunatic, but I don't care. Right? This is my recipe. I feel way better after it. Even if I had a headache or my back hurts or whatever it is, I literally am laughing at myself. I'm in a good mood. I have a smile on my face. And then I go and I do my follow-up messages or I write my post or whatever it is. And they did some studies actually with people, guys, where they had people in one room and people in another room. And in the one room, they made everyone purposely smile, even if it was fake, for 30 seconds. You had to just smile. And then they made you practice writing a text to someone. And then the other people in the other room, they made sure that they did not smile. And then they had to write a text to someone. And then they asked the people who received the text who thought that the person was being like pleasant, kind, nice, uplifting, whatever, and who thought that the people were being like rude, short, snotty, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? The people who had a smile on their face for 30 seconds before sending a text, the people getting those texts who can't even see them, they don't know whether they're smiling or not, took it a good way. They thought it was a joke. They thought it was funny. They thought, it was upbeat, whatever. The other people who got the text from people who weren't smiling, most of them were like, dude, that was a rude text. Like, why would they say that? They must be having an attitude or like all of that. So think about that. I'm sure you've all gotten a text and you're like, oh, like, why do they sound like that? Right. Even though they don't actually sound like anything because it's a text, right? They've done a similar study with voices. And so people who purposely smiled for at least 30 seconds and then made a phone call, the people on the other end were like much more willing to entertain the person, have a conversation, respond, etc., than were the people who made a phone call after not smiling. So if you guys thought of just smiling alone for even 30 seconds before you wrote your post or sent your messages or whatever else, literally people can feel that energy. They know that you were smiling even though they don't know what it was. They're so much more likely to actually reply to your message, whether it's a voice message, a phone call, a text, depending on how you're feeling. So if you need to put on a song and jump around like a crazy person and yell some stuff out loud about how awesome you are, then do that first and make banana bread instead of you're over here like, I've tried to make this banana bread 32 times and I keep getting blueberry muffins. Like, what is happening, right? Not that blueberry muffins are bad. I love blueberry muffins. But when we are trying to find people, when we're trying to rank up, when we're trying to go silver, when we're trying to hit a goal of like, I just really want to change 5 lives this month. I really, really, really want to change people's lives. And you're over here and you're like, rats, blueberry muffins again. They left me on red, or they ignored me, or they said they're not interested, or they said I hate MLMs. What if you guys jumped around like a maniac and had a giant smile on your face and you were laughing and then you sent the message? Could it change things? I also want you to think of this. Our focus changes those limiting beliefs that we have on ourselves. If you put your finger up and you try to spin and you only go so far, but then you close your eyes and you focus on, I can go farther, I can go farther, I can go farther, then you actually do go farther. What if your focus is, I change people's lives? People want to hear what I have to say. I'm valuable. People like to hear from me. People are excited to get a message from me. And you sit there and you close your eyes, and instead of picturing yourself spinning, you're like, I am texting, and then I send it, and then their phone bings, and then they open their phone and they're like, yeah, Cass texted me. What if you pictured that? What if you actually spent time doing that, no matter how crazy it seems? Could it maybe make you spin farther? Would it maybe make you change your wording just a tiny bit? Or would that energy transfer of the fact that you're laughing at yourself, like, okay, I imagined 32 people today being excited that I texted them, and you're laughing at yourself, but then maybe 5 people actually respond right away and want, yeah, like, I want what you got going. Here's something I want to tell you guys. We are in a sales industry technically, but we're really in a service industry, and it's not any different than an athlete or an entertainer, like a musician or an actor. And I want to tell you why. We pay actors, musicians specifically, because of how they make us feel, right? You have favorite songs when you're sad, favorite songs when you're mad, favorite songs when something's going on, favorite songs when you're excited, right? We pay those people because they change how we feel. If every single time you heard somebody's song, it kind of made you feel angry and annoyed, you probably wouldn't buy their stuff, right? You would be like, oh my God, I can't stand them, not buying their songs, right? But why are people becoming millionaires and billionaires and all this other stuff? It's because they have the ability to change how we feel. How do they do that? It's a transfer of energy. Have you ever met a person and you just walk in the room, and no matter what's been going on with you that day, the moment you're around them, you just feel better? You feel a little bit like, yeah, like they're pretty cool. And then have you have other people in your life where you walk into a room with them and you're like, oh my gosh, every time I'm around that person, it just kills my mood, right? It's a literal energy transfer. Anytime that we communicate with someone, whether it's face to face, a text, a voice message, whatever, we are transferring energy. So I want to ask you guys, if you're like, okay, I'm going to do my work today and I'm going to make banana bread and blah, I just don't really want to, and this is just dumb and probably no one's going to respond. If that's your energy, right? What are you transferring to them? When that connection is made and they open your message, are they feeling better? Are they like you're a little bit laughing when you start your voice message to them and they're like, oh my gosh, I wonder what was so funny. What's she laughing about? Maybe I'll ask her. She always seems to be in such a great mood. It's kind of weird. I wonder like what this plexus crack is or whatever. Like I really want you guys to think about that. Okay. If every time someone hears from you, they end up laughing, smiling, they feel better and they don't really know why, they're one of those people like in the study, and every time they get your text, they just feel a little bit better. Wouldn't even that be worth it to just know that every person you connected to, they felt better? I mean, to me, that's a pretty big deal. And not only that, but there are studies that show that friends will buy from and support friends, even if the friend isn't a good salesperson. And not that I want to encourage you guys to be a good salesperson, but I'm saying if everyone feels like they're your friend and they feel better every time they're around you, you don't need to be a good salesperson, because they're going to be like, you know what? Every single time I hear from Jennifer, she's always in such a great mood. She's always asking me how I'm doing. She really seems to care about me. She's always in a good mood. She's uplifting me, blah, blah, blah. She keeps saying it's this plexus stuff that makes her feel better. Maybe I need that in my life. What if they came to the conclusion on their own just based off how we make them feel? So that said, I want you all to take your banana bread recipes or whatever you named it, since we're not actually making banana bread. I want you to put it somewhere that you're going to see it a lot. One of the suggestions was put it up on your mirror where you're brushing your teeth, right? But then you might be like spitting toothpaste everywhere when you're trying to yell your stuff out. So I didn't put mine there. I put mine in my kitchen because that's where I spend a lot of my day. I have 7 kids. I cook a lot, wash a lot of dishes. It's right there. I have to walk past it. Just seeing it when I walk through my kitchen reminds me to check in with myself. Do I have a smile on my face? Is my focus in the right place? Is my internal language correct? Do I need to change my physiology to get out of this? Do I need to put on my song and jump around real quick? Do I? So I want you guys to take your recipe. I want you to tape it up somewhere where you have to walk past it a lot of times. And I want you guys to practice it. I want you guys, it's going to be weird when you start, I know, but I want you, as soon as we're off this Zoom, I want you to practice it. And then I want you each to message me and tell me what your experience was. How did you feel after? And then I want you guys to decide how often you're going to practice it every single day. Are you going to do it like morning, lunch, and dinner? Are you going to practice it twice a day? Are you going to do it once an hour? Like whatever it takes. I want you guys to practice, practice, practice. And pretty soon you won't even have to go through the whole thing, because you'll be jumping up and down while yelling, I'm a child of God, and I'm serving him, also me. And you'll be like done in 5 seconds. And you'll totally have been able to, boom, make banana bread, right? So that is all I have, unless anyone has any questions. So anybody have any questions? Besides, you think I've totally lost it now? No.
No questions. Just wanted to say thank you. This was awesome.
Of course. I cannot wait, because I really do mean I want you all to try it. Like after we're off here, be a crazy person and tell me how it made you feel. Any questions for you, Jen?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I like it. Thank you.
Of course. I look forward to hearing what you think once you guys try it. I know you think I'm crazy, but I promise you it will help, okay? And hi, babies. All right. I will let you guys all go. I will upload the recording. Take a few minutes for yourself. And if you didn't try the spinning thing and you still think I'm crazy, stand up and try the spinning thing, because then you'll be like, holy crap, she's not a lunatic. So I'll talk to you guys later, okay?
All right, thank you.
Bye.
You smell